Hey everyone, here's the walkthrough for paper 2. So, just make it a bit bigger. Okay, so name my rolls of dice 200 times, work an estimate of the number of times it land on a 1 or a 3. So obviously we need to work out that missing probability. Okay, so question number 1. 0.17 plus 0.18 plus 0.09 plus 0.15 plus 0.1 equals 0.69. So 1 minus 0.69 is 0.31. So the probability of a 1 is 0.31. Probability of a 3 is 0.18. So 0.31 plus 0.18 equals 0.49. 0.49 multiplied by 200 equals 98. Okay, question number 2. So on Saturday, some adults and some children were in a theatre. The ratio number of adults to children was 5 to 2. Adults to children is 5 to 2. Each person had a seat in either the circle seats or the stool seats. So 3/4 of the children were in the stalls. (117) children had seats in the circle. So that 117 must be 1/4 of the children. There are exactly 2,600 seats in the cinema. On this Saturday, were there more than 60% of the seats? Were there people on more than 60% of the seats? Okay, so if 1/4 of the children's 117, 117 times 4 is 117 multiplied by 4 equals 468. Okay, so that 2 parts is 468. So 468 divided by 2 equals 234. And there's a total of 7 parts. 5 and 2 is 7 parts. So 244 multiplied by 7 is 1,638. 1,638 out of 2,600 times by 100 equals 63%. So, were there more than 60% of the seats taken? So, yes, there were. Okay, so on a centimetre grid, draw the front elevation and the side elevation of the prism. Okay, use a scale of 2 centimetres is 1 metre. So obviously your side elevation is going to be a trapezium. So 2 centimetres is 1 metre, so the 2 metres will be 4 squares. The 2 metres will be 4 squares, and the 1 metre, as 0.5 metres, will be 1 square high. Okay? Your side elevation is 1 metre, so that'll be 2 squares wide. It'll be 2 metres, so that's 4 squares high, and this is at 0.5 meters. So that's 1 square high there. Okay. Question number 4. Ollie drove 56 kilometres from Liverpool to Manchester. He then drove 61 kilometres from Manchester to Sheffield. Ollie's average speed from Liverpool to Manchester was 70 kilometres per hour. Ollie took 75 minutes to drive from Manchester to Sheffield. Work out Ollie's average speed for this total drive from Sheffield to Liverpool to Sheffield. Sorry. So Liverpool to Manchester, Manchester to Sheffield, Liverpool to Sheffield. Okay. So distance, time, speed. Okay, so I'm going to get some different sections. Okay, so the distance is 56 and 61. So the total is 117 kilometres. Ollie's average speed from Liverpool to Manchester was 70 kilometres per hour. Okay, and it took him 75 minutes, which is 1.25 hours. Okay, because we're working in kilometres per hour, so I need that time in hours. Okay, so speed is distance over time. So I want to find the time. So I cover up the time and its distance divided by speed. So 56 divided by 70 is 0.8 hours. Okay, so 56 divided by 70 equals 0.8 hours. Okay, we want to work out is average speed for the whole drive. So 0.8 plus 1.25 is 2.05 hours. Okay, so 117 divided by 2.05 is 57.07 kilometers per hour. Okay, so Janie drove from Barnsley to York. Janie's average speed from Barnsley to Leeds was 80 kilometers per hour. Average speed from Leeds to York was 60 kilometers per hour. Janie says that the average speed from Barnsley to York can be found by working out the mean of 80 and 60. Is that correct? So no, as we don't know the distances. Or times. Okay, so if you travel for an hour at 80 kilometers per hour and then for an hour at 60 kilometers per hour, then yes, you could. Okay, but as we don't know the distances or times, we can't just find the mean. We would need to work out the times taken, total distance traveled, to work out the average speed. Okay, so question 5. Parallel A, E, B, D, C. We know that EC is 8.1. We know that DC is 5.4. And we know that DB is 2.6. Work out the length of AE. So if I draw two separate triangles, okay, these triangles are similar because these sides are parallel, so all the angles are the same for the two triangles. So that's 2.6, that's 5.4, that's 8.1. I should have done these the other way, and I want to find that X. So X over 2.6 is the same as 8.1 over 5.4. So x equals 8.1 times 2.6 over 5.4, which equals 3.9 centimeters. So AE equals 3.9 centimeters. Part B, AC is 6.15, work out the length of AB. So what's this length here? Okay, but we can't calculate that length. We can calculate length of BC and then take it away from AC. So again, BC over, it says AC is 6.15, will be equal to 5.4 over 8.1 this time, because I'm going small triangle to big triangle. So BC equals 5.4 times by 6.15 over 8.1. 5.4 times 6.15 equals 1 by 8.1 equals 4.1 centimeters. So we know that BC is 4.1, we know AC is 6.15, so 6.15 minus 4.1 equals 2.05 centimeters. Okay, so AB is 2.05 centimeters. Okay, so £25,000 for 3 years. Personal bank is 2% interest per year. Secure bank is 4.3% for the first year, then 0.9% for the second year. Okay, so we're going to do, I'm going to split my page. I'm going to have personal bank and secure bank, 25,000 times by 1.02 cubed equals 25,000 times by 1.02 cubed is 26,530.20p, and 25,000 times by 1.043 for the first year, and that's times by 1.009 squared for the second year. So that is 25,000 times 1.043 times by 1.009 squared equals 26,546 pounds and 46p. Okay, so which bank is most interest over 3 years? So secure bank. If I was going for more than 3 years, I would go personal bank, as after 3 years that will give you a better interest. Okay, so question 7. Number n is rounded to 2 decimal places. The result is 4.76. Using the quantities to write down the error interval. So 4.76, 4.75, 4.77. So I think about my number line. That value there is going to round up. That value there is going to round up. So this value here is 4.755, and this is 4.765. So my inequality is going to read n is greater than or equal to 4.755, but less than 4.765. Because it can take this lower value, because that rounds up, but this value is the first value that doesn't round up. So it can take everything up to, but not including 4.765. Okay, so cumulative frequency graph. Work out an estimate for the number of students with a height greater than, okay, this is the important bit, greater than 160. So I'll go along to 160, do my dotted line up to the line, read across, that comes out at 48. And there's 60 students minus the 48 means that there's 12 greater than 160 centimeters. Okay, so this one's really difficult for me to show on the video because I don't have a copy of this, but I will give it a go. Okay, y, x, triangle A is about there. Kyle reflects triangle A in the x-axis to get triangle B. So B ends up down there slightly. He then reflects triangle B in the line y equals x. Okay, so this coordinate here is 4 minus 1. Okay, so that is going to go up to minus 1, 4. This one's going to be 4 minus 3. So that one there is going to reflect up to minus 3, 4. And this corner here is at 3 minus 3. So that one's going to reflect up to minus 3, 3. Okay, so that's reflected up to there to get triangle C. Amy reflects triangle A in the line y equals x to get triangle D. She's then going to reflect it into the x-axis to get triangle E, so that's going to come down to here. Okay, is Amy correct? No, well, you've shown by doing all the reflections that they're not in the same position, so you don't need to write anything else because you've shown it on your graph. Okay, so write down the name of the planet with the greatest mass. So I look down my list of mass is looking for the highest index number to start with. Well, there's only one with an index of 27, that's the highest, so Jupiter has the highest mass. Find the difference between Venus, mass of Venus and mass of Mercury. So Venus is 4.869 times 10 to the 24, and Mercury is 3.302 times 10 to the 23. Okay, it's a calculator paper, so let's just open bracket 4.869 times by 10 to the power of 24, close bracket, minus open bracket 3.302 times by 10 to the power of 23, close bracket, equals 4.5388 times 10 to the 24. Nishat says that Neptune is over 100 times further away from Earth than Venus. Is she correct? Neptune is 10 to the power of 9. Venus is 10 to the power of 7. So Neptune is 4.35 times 10 to the power of 9 divided by 4.14 times 10 to the power of 7. Okay, so again, 4.35 times 10 to the power of 9 divided by 4.14 times 10 to the power of 7 equals 105, oops, 105.07. So yes, Okay, question 11. Okay, so 3x minus 2 over 4 minus 2x plus 5 over 3 equals 1 minus x over 6. So I'm looking at the denominators and I want to find a common denominator between these three fractions. Then we can obviously compare the numerators. So obviously it's going to be 12. So I'm going to multiply by 3, multiply by 4, multiply by 2. Okay, so now I can just compare the numerators. This numerator minus this numerator must equal this numerator because they've all got the same denominator of 12. Okay, so I'm going to expand the brackets and then just compare the numerators. So 9x minus 6 minus 8x minus 20 must equal 2 minus 2x. So x minus 26 must equal 2 minus 2x. Bring this to this side, 3x, take that to that side, equals 28. So x equals 28 over 3, which is 9 1/3. So question 12. Well, then one thing that is wrong with the probabilities in the probability tree diagram. Okay, so 2 students from the class are chosen at random. So obviously, once you've chosen the first student, the second probability should be out of 29. Yeah, so that's one thing that's wrong with it. Okay. And obviously, you could have just said that the probabilities on the second students don't add up to a whole one because 15 plus 14 is 29 out of 30 and 16 plus 13 is 29 out of 30, so they should add up to a whole one. So either of those solutions are correct. So Owen and Wesley play for the school team. The probability that Owen will score a goal in the next match is 0.4. The probability that Wesley will score a goal in the next match is 0.25. Okay, so Mr. Slade says the probability that both boys will score a goal in the next match is 0.4 plus 0.25. Is he correct? Okay, so no, obviously you should be multiplying the two probabilities together, not adding them. Okay, so no, he's not correct. Okay, so just gonna have to make that a little bit small. So histogram, 20% of the members of the sports club are over 50. Work out an estimate for the number of female members who are over 50 years of age. Okay. So 20% of the members of the sports club are over 50 years of, who are over 50 years of age are female. Okay. So we're going to have to work out some frequencies from the frequency density. So if we look at this top bar here, the class width is 30 and the height is 0.7. So question 13, sorry. 13, class width of 15 and the height is 0.7. No, class width isn't 15, class width is 30, sorry. So 30 times 0.7 is 21. So there's 21 students in, 21 members in this 60 to 90 age group. Okay, now this is 40 to 60, but we only want 50 to 60 because we want 50s and over. So that class width is 10 and the height is 1.4. So 10 multiplied by 1.4 equals 14. So that means there's a total of 35 members who are 50 years or over. 20% of 35 equals 7. So question 14 wants us to do the curves, match the equations to the graph. So y equals sine x. So we should recognize which one's sine. Okay, we should recognize it's either C or D, but we should know that sine of 0 is 0. Okay, so the first one is C. The next one we want is x cubed plus 4x. So we should recognize x cubed, okay, as f, this shape here. Next one is 2 to the power of x. So 2 to the power of x is a, and 4 over x is one of these two. Okay, so if you're not sure which way around it is, just try some numbers. So 4 divided by 1 gives you 4. Okay, here 1 gives you a negative number, so it must be h. Okay, circle theorems question, but we've got to do a proof. Okay, so I've got to prove that this triangle ABE is similar to triangle DCE. Okay, so I've got to prove that that angle there is the same as that angle there to start with. So as they both come from BC, okay, so angle BAC equals angle BDE, BDC, sorry. And what reason are we going to use? Angles in the same segment are equal. Okay, so now obviously I need to prove that that angle there is the same as that angle there. Not drawn very well on my diagram, but obviously you could draw it onto your original diagram. So angle ABD equals angle ACD. The reason obviously being what? Angles in the same segment are equal. Okay, so now obviously I've got to prove that that angle there is the same as that angle there. So angle AEB equals angle DEC as vertically opposite angles are equal. Okay, and then obviously you've got 3 pairs of equal angles, 3 pairs of equal angles. Okay, so triangles are similar. Question 16. Use algebra to prove that 0.136, where the 36 occurs, times by 0.2 recurring is equal to y. So if I let x equal 0.1363636, let's move this 1 over. 10x equals 1.3636. Oops, 36. So then move the 2 recurring digits over, so multiply by another 100, so 1000 x equals 136.363636. Now if I subtract the 10x away from the 136, from the 1000x, the 0.363636, 0.363636, etc. cancel each other out. Now 136 minus 1 is 135, and 1000x minus 10x is 990. X equals 135, so x equals 135 over 990. Okay, if I do the same for y equals 0.2 recurring, so 0.22222, 10y equals 2.22222, so then 9y would equal 2, so y is 2 over 9. Okay, so x is this, y is this. We've got to show that x times y equals 1/3. So, no, not 1/3, 1 over 33, sorry. So, therefore, 135 over 990 times by 2/9 equals, beauty of it being on a calculator paper, 135 over 990 times by 2 over 9 equals 1 over 33. So I've shown it using algebra. So question 17. O and Q is the text of the circle, centre with radius 11. A is a point on ON and B is a point on OQ such that AOB is an equilateral triangle. Okay, so if that's an equilateral triangle, then obviously you know that this angle here is 60 degrees. Okay, so I'll ask you to find this. Well, that length is 11. That length there is 11. That's 7, that's 7, and that's 7. Okay, calculate the area of the shaded region as a percentage of the area of ONQ. So, area of ONQ is, well, it's 60 out of 360 times by pi r squared, which is 60 out of 360 times by pi times by 11 squared, which is, well, 60 out of 360 is a sixth, so it's 121 over 6 pi. Now, I'm going to leave my answer like that for now because I'm going to need to use it later on. Okay, so area of triangle AOB is a half times by side times sin of angle between them, times 7 times 7 times sin 60, which equals. Okay, so that area is 0.5 times 7 times 7 times sin of 60, which equals 49 root 3 over 4. Okay, I'm going to leave that answer like that as well because whilst I'm still using the answers, let's leave them as exact as possible rather than round at this stage. So the shaded area is going to be the whole area minus the area of the triangle. So it's going to be 121 over 6 pi minus 49 root 3 over 4. Okay, so that as a percentage of the whole area, as a percentage, is going to be 121 pi over 6 minus 49 root 3 over 4 over 121 pi over 6. Okay, so I'm just going to put all of that into the calculator. So 121 shift pi over 6 minus 49 root 3 over 4 over 121 pi over 6 equals 0.6651, which is 66.5%. Okay, so the reason I've left these as their exact values is so that I'm only rounding once on my final answer. Okay, remember you should only ever be rounding on your final answer. Okay, if you wanted to press the SD button at these stages, you'd have to write down all the digits. Okay, but then you'd still have a small rounding error at the end. Okay. So question 18. 16 to the power of 1/5 times by 2 to the power of x equals 8 to the power of 3/4. So this is an index law question, okay? And because I've got a 2 here, I want to turn 16 into 2 to the power of something and 8 into 2 to the power of something. So 16 is 2 to the power of 2, 4, 8, 16, 2 to the power of 4. So this is 2 to the power of 4 to the power of 1/5. Okay, times by 2 to the power of x equals, now 8 is 2 cubed, 2 cubed to the power of 3/4. So using my index laws, this is 4/5, so that's 2 to the power of 4/5 times by 2 to the power of x equals, now multiply these two together, 2 to the power of 9/4. So now it becomes a fraction question because I'm adding these two powers to give this power. So now it's 4/5 plus x equals 9/4. So x equals 9/4 minus 4/5. I need to get a common denominator. X equals over 20 minus over 20. 9 times 5 is 45. 4 times 4 is 16. So x equals 29 over 20, which is 1.45. So question number 19. I've got 2 minus x plus 2 over x minus 3 minus x minus 6 over x plus 3. Okay, and I want to get that as one fraction over x squared minus 9, where I've got some x's and a number. Okay, so if I notice here, if I multiply these two denominators together, I get x squared minus 9. Okay, x minus 3 times x plus 3 gives you x squared. No x's because they cancel out in the middle, and you're minus 9 at the end. So I've got to give them all a common denominator. Okay, so I need to multiply by x minus 3, x plus 3 on the bottom of this one. So I need to multiply the top by x minus 3, x plus 3. Okay, minus x minus 3, x plus 3. So I've multiplied this denominator by x plus 3. So I've got to multiply the numerator by x plus 3. And I'm multiplying this by x minus 3. This denominator by x minus 3. So I've got to multiply this numerator by x minus 3. Okay, so now I'm hoping that x squareds will all cancel out because I haven't got any x squareds up here. So let's do the expansion. Well, I know that this numerator is x squared minus 9. So this gives me x squared 3x 5x plus 6 over x squared minus 9 minus x squared minus 9x plus 18 over x squared minus 9. Okay, so now I'm going to have 2x squared minus 18 minus x squared minus 5x minus 6 minus another x squared. Now the minus minus becomes plus 9x and minus 18 at the end, all which is over x squared minus 9. So now I've just got to simplify the numerator. So 2x squared minus x squared, they disappear. Okay, now let's do the x's first. Minus 5x plus 9x is 4x. Minus 18 minus another 18 is minus 36. Minus another 6 is minus 42 over x squared minus 9. So a equals 4 and b equals minus 42. Okay, so 20. You've got y equals x squared minus 2x plus 3. And then you're given the graph of x squared minus 3x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, so what would this have to equal here? What would have to make this equal? So when I move it back over, I get to this. So what's the difference between here and here? It's an x. What's the difference between here and here? It's a 4. So if I had x squared minus 2x plus 3 and made that equal to x plus 4, then move this back over, I get to minus 3x and minus 1. So I have x squared minus 3x minus 1. So I need to draw in the line of x plus 4 on my graph, okay, which obviously we know goes through the point 0, 4, okay, and every time I go up by 1, I go up by 1. I'll go up by 2, I'll go up by 2, so it needs to go through 0, 4, and 2, 6, draw your straight line in, and see the 2 points where it crosses, okay? So you can get 2 coordinates. And I think the coordinates are going to be about minus 0.4, 3.2, somewhere around there. And let's cross down here. Yeah, minus 0.4. Roughly. And where else is it going to cross? Because obviously I'm only looking for the x coordinate. Somewhere around 3.2. Okay. So really difficult for me to draw a straight line in on here. You can cross it up here somewhere about 3.2. Okay. P is the point on the graph y equals x squared minus 2x plus 3, where x equals 2. Calculate an estimate for the gradient. So here, when we're doing our gradient, obviously we've got our graph in. Got something like that. Okay, so when x equals 2, you've got to draw your tangent in, then work out the gradient of your tangent. Not very well done. Okay, remember it's the change in y divided by the change in x. And you should get somewhere around 2, so anywhere between 1.6 up to 2.5 will get you the marks. Okay. Question 21. Okay, so question 21. 3 identical circles. Okay, please don't laugh at my diagram when you see it, but I've tried to draw 3 identical circles. Each circle touches the other 2 circles and the sides of the rectangle as shown in the diagram. The radius of the circle is 24. Okay, work out the area of the rectangle. Okay, so here's my attempt at my diagram. So that's 24. So that's 24, that's 24, and that's 24. So this length here is 96 millimeters. 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24. Okay, so we know that this height here is 24, and this height here is 24. Now I need to find this height here. Okay, so if I look here, I've got a 24 and a 24, a 24 and a 24, a 24 and a 24. So if I draw that triangle out, I've got an equilateral triangle. Okay, where I've got 48, 48, 48. Okay, so this height here is going to be the vertical height of your equilateral triangle. Okay, so if I now split the triangle in half, I've now got a right angle triangle, or I can do Pythagoras' theorem. So this squared plus this squared equals this squared. So 24 squared plus x squared equals 48 squared. X squared equals 48 squared minus 24 squared. So x is the square root of 48 squared minus 24 squared. So x equals square root of 48 squared minus 24 squared equals 24 root 3. So this length here is 48 plus 24 root 3. So the area is 96 multiplied by 48 plus 24 root 3. Which is 8598.645, and it asks for its three significant figures. So 1, 2, 3, that 8 rounds of 9 up to a 10, so 8,600 millimeters squared. Okay, I hope that all makes sense. Once you see what the question is, it's not a difficult question, but it's seeing this triangle in here that's an equilateral triangle, which you can then split into a right angle triangle to find the vertical height. Okay. So, first 5 terms of a sequence: 4, 11, 22, 37, 56. So what I automatically think of when I see a sequence is look at the gaps. So that's 7, 11, 15, 19. Okay, so the gaps aren't consistent. So then the gap here is 4, 4, 4. So that tells me my sequence is something to do with 2n squared. Okay, so what I do, and this is the way I do it, is I will go, right, n squared is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. So 2n squared would be 2, 8, 18, 32, 50. Okay, now what do I have to do to get from 2 to 4? I've got to add 2. What do I have to do to get 8 to 11? Add 3. 18 to 24, 22, add 4. 32 to 37, add 5. 50 to 56, add 6. And now I just find the gap here. 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's something to do with 1n. What number would have been here? 1. So my nth term for the whole sequence is 2n squared plus 1n plus 1. Okay, so I've got the circle with the equation x squared plus y squared equals 4. And I know that the point L is on the circle. Okay, so it's got a radius of 2. So it goes through the point 0, 0 is the center. That's 2, that's 2, that's 2, that's 2. Okay, and we know that the point 3, 2, root 7 over 2 is on the circle. Okay, so we know the center is 0, 0. So there's your radius touching that point. Now the tangent is the line that just touches perpendicular to your radius. Okay, a tangent and a radius meet at right angles. So if I work out the gradient of the radius, I will then know the gradient of the tangent. So gradient of the radius is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is root 7 over 3. So therefore the gradient of the tangent is going to be minus 3 over root 7, which is minus 3 root 7 over 7, because I don't like thirds on the denominator. So I've rationalised that. Okay, remember that your two gradients, when they're perpendicular, multiply together to give you minus 1, or it's a negative reciprocal. So now we know that a straight line is y equals mx plus c. So we know the gradient, y equals minus 3 root 7 over 7x plus c. So I want to find this missing c. So if I substitute this point that goes through into here, I'll get c out. So root 7 over 2 is my y value, equals minus 3 lots of root 7 over 7x times by 3 over 2 plus c. So root 7 over 2 equals minus 9 root 7 over 14 plus c. Now, this is over 14, so I'm going to make this over 14. So that becomes 7 root 7 over 2 equals minus 9, oops, root 7 over 14 plus c. Add the 9 over to here, so that should be 14 as well. So add the 9 over, 16 root 7 over 14 equals c. So now my equation, my straight line, is y equals minus 3 root 7 over 7x plus 16 root 7 over 14, which is 8 root 7 over 7. Okay, so that was a tough question to end with, okay, because it had equation for circle, coordinate geometry, so using your gradients, and then surds involved as well. Okay, so that was a really tough question. Okay, let me know if you need me to go through any more questions in any more detail. Okay, and just post that on the Google Classroom if you need to.